Hello and welcome to the COCOON in a Nutshell video. COCOON stands for Cosmological Consciousness Ontology, and its comprehensive video was created in response to the Theory of Everything Channel Physics and Consciousness Explication Challenge. While we are gratified that the COCOON entry was an official selection for the contest, it took almost 60 minutes to properly lay down the basis for the framework and to explain the theory in detail, as requested by the contest. In this video we provide a summarized explanation for COCOON. Fundamentally, COCOON is trying to answer these two questions. 1. Is there a framework that accommodates consciousness in a manner that is compatible with what is known scientifically, and what would such a framework look like? 2. Could this framework explain any of the high strangeness phenomena, such as UAPs or paranormal events that are currently considered to be outside mainstream science? Think of this video as some sort of cliff notes, but we highly recommend you eventually watch the full video. The link is below in the description. The so-called elevator pitch for the COCOON model is that COCOON places consciousness at the center of a theory of everything. This includes information, quantum, and entropy, and it surmises that we exist in a biplanar universe with our traditional spacetime as being an entropy-driven plane and an information plane, ruled by information neg-entropy, both planes interacting with each other via quantum entanglements between consciousnesses in the information plane and very small organs inside our neurons known as microtubules. Catalyzing the flow of information between both planes is one of the main roles for consciousness, with conscious entities residing in the information plane, but connecting to the brain via these microtubules. While we have shown the two planes as two sides of a coin, through the rest of this presentation, we will be showing the information plane as a green ring encircling the material plane shown in a blue texture, or as a green layer bordering the material plane. Suffice to remember that the information plane is connected in all points to the material plane. Other than for quantum phenomena, which is deemed to be truly universal, entities in the information plane are not constrained by the laws of physics in the material plane, such as the speed of light or gravity. The information plane of the universe itself is populated by a massive network of conscious agents. All conscious entities, shown as green spheres, exist in the information plane. Some are connected to the material world via microtubules, others may exist in a detached manner inside the information plane. Each conscious entity can be viewed as a standalone node in a network of entities. Direct communications through the information plane between conscious entities are also possible. The information plane in this case can be viewed as a non-local channel permitting instantaneous communications. COCOON posits that shared conscious observations establish an entanglement between the observing consciousnesses. The entanglement strength is referred to as correlated consciousness experiences, or CCX for short. The more shared experiences two conscious entities have, the more those two will be entangled, and the stronger their CCX index. The ease with which conscious entities can interact with each other depends on their degree of CCX entanglement. Interestingly, since these entanglements occur within the information plane, they are likely to outlast the detachment of the conscious entity from the material plane. Again, the more entanglements, the stronger the CCX, and the easier for the entangled entities to share their existence via the information plane. Conscious entities connected to the material plane via microtubules receive all physical organism experiences, coded as information that gets ultimately stored in the information plane. Conscious entities are also directing the response to those experienced through the microtubules, via free will decisions. A good analogy is to think of our material bodies as monitoring appliances such as the popular Ring device, the microtubules as home network routers, the conscious entity as the software controlling everything from the service provider's site, and the information plane as the cloud system storing the videos. Since the communications channel established between the conscious entity and the physical mind via microtubules is bidirectional, COCOON allows that, under the right conditions such as dream states or altered mind states, communications from other conscious entities in the information plane can be propagated into the physical mind. Finally, since information gathered by a conscious entity is stored in the information plane, something akin to a tag or index is added to the storing entity's tag list. These tags can be seen as indexes used to access the conscious entity's exact memory of experiences stored in the information plane. With COCOON, the accumulated tag list can represent a universally unique identifier for each conscious entity, something we usually refer to as the soul. In summary, the COCOON model just described has the following characteristics. It places consciousness at the center of the universe. It defines consciousness as a timeless, evolving entity. It also defines a mechanism for consciousness to evolve. This mechanism relies on consciousness gaining and keeping information acquired via experiences in the material plane. It informs how consciousnesses are universally unique and cannot be cloned. This follows quantum's no-cloning theorem, stating that it is impossible to create an independent and identical copy of an arbitrary unknown quantum state. It also establishes a mechanism under which conscious entities gain unique identities, based on their experiences. In other words, how the concept of soul emerges. It suggests the existence of a universal information repository. It suggests a mechanism, aided by Hameroff and Penrose's microtubule hypothesis, on how consciousness connects with the physical plane. It establishes a link for how consciousness interacts with the quantum superpositions, and functions as a catalyst to trigger the wavefunction collapse upon observation. It is consistent with the laws in the physical plane, including what is known about how our senses, our brain, and our mind work to gather and process information. It establishes a mechanism for the entanglement of conscious entities. It provides a reason why classical computing will never create strong artificial sentience. It provides guidance to better understand the past is not repeatable, but that it can be accessed, and that the future does not yet exist. It provides a framework for consciousness to exercise free will. But what are the possible implications of this model? Even though various anecdotal and not-so-anecdotal phenomena that so far has been labeled as metaphysical or paranormal has been viewed with wrinkled noses by mainstream science, reality is that what constitutes metaphysics and the paranormal are more reflective of the limits of science than we care to admit. No doubt, thunder was viewed as a mystical phenomenon by our early ancestors. Remember Zeus throwing light from Mount Olympus? Astronomic events such as eclipses and comets were surely considered manifestations from magical influences. In the later part of the 18th century, reports of falling rocks from the sky were viewed by science with the same suspicion as reports of falling frogs and fish. When a physicist named Ernst Chladni suggested the rocks came from space, he was strongly rebuked. Today, no one says that meteorites are fake. Phenomena to the right of the strangeness heat map may eventually be explained and turn green. In addition to the main COCOON video, you can also watch a follow-up video entitled Explaining Strangeness. This is a highly speculative video on how COCOON could expand what science is able to explain. Check the link below. A forthcoming video in this series will try to answer how the COCOON framework could have come about. There, we will explore a possible cosmology that could explain the biplanar characteristics of the model, and we will speculate on what's the stuff that consciousnesses are made of. Yet another video to follow will be more philosophical in nature. It will discuss questions such as why we exist, whether there is a God, and about what is the nature of good and evil. Of course, we are not promising that COCOON has an answer to any or all these questions. It might even be that COCOON is completely wrong, but so what? Open minds are all that is needed for this exciting journey of discovery. Thanks for watching.